Welcome everyone to the Co-Creators Convergence Thursday night Creator Convo. I'm Noel Marshall, and I'm here with my beloved Bob Warner.
Good evening, everyone. Great to have you with us on this beautiful, beautiful December evening. Looking forward to the conversation.
I certainly am. Yes, and welcome Maureen Edwardson. And we find out we have we've been weaving parallel paths and kind of all circling around Barbara Marx Hubbard, conscious evolution. And she's going to take us through a wonderful experience tonight. So I'm looking forward. And before I tell you more about Maureen, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Co-Creators Convergence. Then I'll come back, tell you a little bit. Then I'm going to ask Kathy Mason to join us, and she will bring in, open the Akashic Records for us. So Kathy, I'm going to go ahead and join you right now here. And so without any further ado, let me do some screen sharing here, and I will be back. And before we begin, I want to invite Kathy Mason, my dear friend Kathy Mason, also one of the co-creators of the Co-Creators Convergence. She is going to bring us in by opening up the Akashic Records. So Kathy, over to you.
Oh, great, thank you. So our intention is to be in a field of unity, consciousness, and love that allows us to really get a lot of benefit from the experience today that'll help us live in a different field, hopefully of unconditional love. So what I do with the Akashic Records, this class that where I learned this prayer is from Darlis Mays, who teaches a class in the Akashic Records, and I use it in my business to open up the field in order to get source and soul information for the clients. So what we do is that we read it 3 times and then make sure we're in the field, and then I'll be able to pass it on off to Maureen. But this, hopefully, if you can close your eyes and just get centered and breathe this in, and the intention is to be a kiss of love and a hug of hope for everyone that hears this. We align with our divine primordial blueprint with guidance from the galactic Akashic Records in all dimensions. All aspects of self are here now. All universal and celestial information and all important memories for our highest good and guidance are available to us now. We have access to all stellar wisdom of light now, delivered by the galactic Akashic Record Keepers in reverence for the well-being of all life. And so it is. We align with our divine primordial blueprint with guidance from the galactic Akashic records in all dimensions. All aspects of self are here now. All universal and celestial information and all important memories for our highest good and guidance are available to us now. We have access to all stellar wisdom of light now, delivered by the galactic Akashic record keepers in reverence for the well-being of all life. And so it is. We align with our divine primordial blueprint with guidance from the galactic Akashic records in all dimensions. All aspects of self are here now. All universal and celestial information and all important memories for our highest good and guidance are available to us now. We have access to all stellar wisdom of light now, delivered by the galactic Akashic record keepers in reverence for the well-being of all life. And so it is. Masters, teachers, and guides, please show us what we need to know. Okay, the field is in, we're in the field. So hopefully you're feeling that, you're feeling some positive, maybe even chills. Hopefully you're feeling the energy.
Thank you so much, Kathy. I always love when you do that and add that. It's just brings me right in. So
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And welcome everyone once again to our call with the wonderful Maureen Edwardson, who I am just delighted to get to spend the next 90 minutes with. And she's also going to take us through a process. But let me tell you a little bit about Maureen before we get started. She is originator of the inner resonance technologies. She has studied, evolved, and shared IRT, inner resonance technologies, fully explained in her book, Your Magic Evolutionary Code Unleashed, the science of inner resonance. And she's been doing this for over 30 years. Maureen has she has shared IRT for U.S. Bureau of Indian Affairs tribal schools with shamans of the Republic of Altai and scientists from research institutions in Russia and Scandinavia. She is a delegate of Nassim Haramein, a unified field physics, which demonstrates mathematically that we are indeed connected to oneness. You and I also have a connection there. IRT is resourced on Dr. Bruce Lipton's website, and in his later two books, Dr. Lipton endorses Maureen's book with Maureen's pioneering efforts are vital to our evolution. She is grateful that Barbara Marx Hubbard loved and not only supported IRT in the world, but also availed herself of personal opportunities to shift realities as well. Yeah, Barbara doesn't miss a trick. So it's no surprise that she's just enamored with what your research and studies. So Maureen has an online international practice facilitating the wake-up empowerment of the global system with individuals and groups that are creating breakthrough ways which address our current crisis in order to shift our collective consciousness and take our collaboration and creativity to another level. And you can reach her at maureenedwardson.com. So Maureen, welcome to the Co-Creators Convergent Thursday Night Convo.
Well, thank you so much. I am just so overjoyed and delighted and honored, especially in this serendipitous moment of not only the month of Barbara's birth, the week before that, the great honoring of the 10-year birth 2012 where she just decided, hey, we're starting a whole new humanity here. And what a perfect moment on my birthday, the day after the apparent doom that others projected from the Mayan calendar, December 2012. So, it's just serendipitous, and it's such a beautiful confluence. And I just always in amazement, because really, it was actually just very serendipitous, wasn't it, Noel? Because we were connecting off something else in Messenger,
That's
and
right.
something happened, and it just sort of happened. And yeah, sure. And then you said December or January. I said, whatever, you just choose the time. And here we are.
Well, I think Barbara's been orchestrating quite a bit, because we were trying to get people interested in the 10th anniversary of birth 2012, because it was so significant for us. And I know for so many, and it just didn't seem like it was going anywhere. And I'm telling you, I think Barbara must have kicked it up from the other side, because all of a sudden so many wonderful things are going to be, produced on the 21st and the 22nd. And did you say your birthday is also on the 22nd?
No.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. So I thought you said that. Yeah. So she declared December 22nd, 2012, day one of the new humanity. And we were honored to be with her in Australia. We had a very long day. Australia, we opened it up and went to the Uplift Festival and did a Barbara Marx Hubbard FinCon, and Bruce Lipton and Patch Adams. So many people were there. It was a wonderful event. Then got on the plane and went to LA at Agape and continued. So it was a good 48 hours birth 2012 day. But I know that you are very good friends with her, and she endorsed your work. And I know tonight you want to take us through an experience. So
yes. And we were, really connected from the early to mid 90s. And then in the later years, somehow we did lose touch. So I missed that last few years where she was at Sunrise. And how long was she there? For about 3 or 4 years or 5 years?
no, not 5 years. It was more like 3 or 4 years, maybe even only 2.
Okay.
We were her neighbor. She was right across the street from us. We were in our RV. We're still we did 10 years living in our RV, and she was right across the street from us. And it was so wonderful but we didn't know her in the 90s. We didn't meet her until through the Shift Network. We met her when she did this ACE, Agents of Conscious Evolution. And she asked each of us, we met for a year. We had 3 retreats during that year. And she asked, what is your gift to the shift in humanity? And Bob and I were like, hey, we just learned how to spell conscious evolution, and you're asking us that? We were like babes in the woods. And anyway, it turned out that she really, she changed the course of the trajectory of our life. And that's how the Co-Creators Convergence was born, was basically because of Barbara Marx Hubbard. And we're having our 10th year anniversary. But anyway, enough about us. Let's talk about what Maureen's here to share with us tonight.
It's all part of it. We're all part of the oneness, and our stories are important. And I first met Barbara Marx Hubbard in person, probably in, as I said, the early to mid 90s. 94, I was part of a tribe of 12 people that co-created International Women of Vision in Action Conference in Washington, D.C. And the visionary for that conference was Rama Vernon and her husband, Max Lefser, who happened to be the Unity church minister in Sedona at that time. And so we all converged on Sedona and took conflict resolution mediation studies, that Max and Rama had been teaching, and with their, the International Institute of mediation. It usually just pops off the top of my head, but it's not doing that right now. And they did conflict resolution mediation for the Russian Presidium. and between Romania and Armenia. And they had a spiritual way of doing that, where they had everybody only talk about their families and what they love to do and what, brought joy to their life before they even started in any kind of negotiations. They connected at the basic human level. And
Wow.
so Barbara and Rama were very good friends. So she was, of course, on our board of directors for that, creating that conference. And so much came out of that, including Gather the Women and lots of different activities. So, and organizations, because it was all about creating change as well. And of course, we had the 12 aspects of co-creation on the wheel, represented with the top women leaders in their field from all over the world. And my daughter, who was 10 years old at the time, is now professional musician, was asked to create a song for that conference and for the children of war. And the chorus of that song was, no matter, and this is the 10-year-old, okay, no matter that they're crying, the world that they know is dying. The stars are the children that look down and cry. That's where the rain comes from. And that's the title of the song. That's where the rain comes from. And then the bridge was, they were born in blood and they're growing up in pain. War is all they know. Will they turn to war again? So that's still very relevant. Yeah, 10 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
She doesn't like talking to me too much these days, people are on their own journeys. But
Right. I'd like to get that recording.
yes. Well, I wonder if she would be willing to record it again. She also loves to, record lots of things. So in any case, here we are, converging all of our experiences into this moment. And I'm just so overjoyed and grateful to be sharing something of inner resonance technologies. As you said, I've been doing this for 30 years. And of course, it's always evolving, as are each of us. And there's always new pieces and new expressions. And yet the form, it has remained the same since I was in Russia in 95 and for 5 weeks. And it was quite the journey, I'm telling you, my goodness. And we, the conference that I ended up serendipitously happening to be there, to be invited to, was called Creating Heaven on Earth.
In Russia.
Yeah, in Russia, in Siberia. And it was put on by the Russian cosmonauts, by the Russian Space Club. And so we know through Edgar Mitchell and Noetic Sciences that, you go into space and you see this blue-green marble and you have an epiphany of oneness. And so this is the energy and the leadership of that conference. So it was pretty phenomenal. It was pinching myself that I was actually there. What
was your background that kind of got you into all this?
No, I just happened to be there.
You just happened to drop in Russia.
Yeah, I just happened to be there. They were, people from here there's a woman from here that was connected with a woman from Bath, England, and they were charged to bring 7, or 8 Western women into the conference to have that voice. And we then went from village to village all around Siberia with women's circles, and all the women wanted at that point in Russia was to be given, the right to stay home, be barefoot in the kitchen, because they were they were a number in the system that were, expected to show up as the men with all the different, tasks and jobs and, endeavors of life. And so they just really wanted the right to stay home, barefoot, pregnant in the kitchen. And, in the West, we were seeking to get out of that, so that we could be equal with the men, right? So it's an interesting juxtaposition. Sometimes I feel a little bit like Forrest Gump, I just happened to be there at the right time at the right place. Unconsciously conscious, whatever. So the title, unconscious, conscious evolution. So what is that?
That's right. That's what our title, Unconscious Conscious Evolution.
Yeah.
I am going to turn the podium over to you, and I'm just really excited to learn because I find that a little intriguing, that title. So
well, and just a short ad at the beginning. If and when people go to the first page of my website, MaureenEdwardson.com, they scroll to the bottom and see there's a Christmas special right now for my book. And I have 2 for 1. If people download a copy for $11.11, they get to share it with one other. And so I'm opening up to everybody on this call, whether you're live or whether you're live streamed and or whether you watch and replay until the end of the year, that you download 1 copy of the book and please share it with everybody that is in your heart, that you feel would like to experience and enjoy that. And it's the whole of IRT, you know, in a book. So
wonderful. I just put some more of that information in the chat. And when I edit it, I'll make sure that I include that information.
yeah, thank
So,
you. Because,
mhm.
you know, it's time for us to share everything as freely as we're able,
Mhm.
and trust the loving universe. That's an
I
echo.
think Connie says that a
Can you
bit.
can you hear an echo in the room?
Right.
Excuse me.
Oh, that's
Yes.
great.
And so so the IRT is it's still cutting edge after 30 years. And now, you know, there's been a long period of cognitive dissonance that it can't be this fast and it can't be this easy as we remember the truth of who we are. You know, we glibly say, oh yeah, we know we're spiritual beings having a physical experience, blah, 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 blah. And yet, what's your experience? Are you really living that? And who of us truly
Yes.
are completely 100%? You know, as Einstein said, the sole governing agency of the particle, this, is the field, consciousness. So consciousness runs the show. That's what, you know, Bruce Lipton teaches, Nassim Haramein says, that we are the central co-creative force of our personal universes. And yet somehow we can't override other people's. And at the same time, yes, when we come into full balance and harmony with the truth of who we are and the choices as appropriate for the higher good, then everybody, you know, is in this beautiful golden web of co-creation that is balanced, that is, you know, serving the greater good in incredible ways. And so the whole idea, as Barbara said, you know, what is your gift? You know, what is your gift that wants to be contributed? And, you know, not everybody knows the answer to that question.
Well, we sure didn't, I'll tell you that. So just, you know, we kind of got the message. Well, we said, well, we live in an RV and we don't know much about this stuff. So what possible gift could we have? And then Spirit said, you're supposed to go to all 48 states and you're supposed to, you know, teach people about Birth 2012 and start hubs and talk about conscious evolution. And I was going like, I don't, you know, so we did. And in 5.5 months, we went over 24,000 miles, made 100 presentations, and we would show one of Barbara Marx Hubbard's movies and then have conscious conversation afterwards. And we learned a lot. You know?
Fantastic.
That's kind of
Well,
how,
and baby, look at you now, you know, the rest is history.
right.
And
Well,
so,
yeah, go ahead. I'm going to go
we
ahead and
don't, we
spotlight you.
don't need to know because, you know, we stumble into it. You know, how did I create this? You know, I stumbled into it, if you want to phrase it that way. However, you know, I really believe that we all have, you know, as in the Cosmic Chrysalis, that's the new program I'm creating for starting next Easter. And the Cosmic Chrysalis is that we're all showing up in our with our imaginal cells, and it's in the blueprint of the caterpillar, isn't it? It didn't have to do anything to consciously evolve itself. It was already in the blueprint, and it was sitting there in the cocoon, all melting down and thinking that was the end of its life. And yet, unbeknownst to the caterpillar, at that conscious level of what it was experiencing in this three-dimensional physical form, the blueprint was already there for the butterfly. And I sincerely believe that we have the blueprint for our evolution, and it is there. And so our only job is to clean up the slime, you know, and the meltdown. And then, you know, we shake off all the mud, you know, and show up, you know, pop our heads up on the grid as imaginal cells, and there you are. And then we get to co-create together and create heaven on earth and be the butterfly, you know, and be in that oneness of beauty and delight. and joy. So that's what I believe. Our only job is to actually feel good. And I love what Wayne Dyer used to say, you know, good is just God with an extra O. So it's our job to feel good and feel the God within, because that's where we get our next set of instructions, when we're in that clear space and receptive, without what I call all that static that interferes with our ability to be our greater selves. And we've just forgotten, you know? And so remembering truly and living from that place of being, you know, breathing, you know, our spirit in. And I just really want to, and we are part of the all of everything that is, that Irvin Laszlo would call the noosphere, the whole informational matrix called the Akashic Records. And so I just really want to say how beautiful it was to have that beginning prayer, because there couldn't be anything more appropriate to this talk here together, sharing here together with everybody, this experience of expansiveness that we're going to be having in a few minutes. And as Kathy's prayer. So I just really want to acknowledge you, Kathy. And again, we just happened to be here. And I said, hey, you know, who else wants to do this? And you said, yes. And Noel said, please. And we all said, thank you. And so it's really remarkable. See, that's how everything works, right? That's SynCon, that is, that's all these wonderful, you know, evolutionary impulse and all the wonderful expressions that Barbara came up with, so delightfully so. You know, our evolutionary impulse guides the way, and we get this vocational arousal, but we think, well, who are we, you know, to do this or that or the other thing? And that's where IRT steps in and allows anything that's in the way of that, anything that's not the truth of that, just to totally be deleted and be neutralized, so that there's no negative interference that is no longer relevant or necessary between you and your greatest gift and your greatest contributions, to be claiming your space in that oneness of conscious co-creation. And then you can consciously create from a different place once you've cleared all the unconscious stuff. And so we do have these little ideas of what we like. And usually as children, you know, that's the usually the telling point, you know, well, what did you like doing when you were a kid? And, oh, well, blah, 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 only like making mud pies, you know, that was nothing, you know. Yeah, but what if that's a person that has a wonderful idea for a restaurant or baking or whatever it might be, loves nurturing people, is making mud pies, right? So whatever it is, you know, it's in our blueprint, it automatically expresses, we just don't necessarily acknowledge it and allow ourselves to think that we could actually support ourselves and be supported by the universe by doing, by sharing our gifts. And it doesn't have to be financially based, you know, we just share and share and share what we love. And everything good comes to us in whatever way it comes to us. And so we learn to sink into that deeper place of allowing. So, you know, IRT is also why it's taken its time to come up into the conscious level of the universe, is because we've always had to work hard to have anything worth having. You know, you have to beware the quick fix. And if anything's too fast and you don't get to, re-experience all the pain and suffering, you know, the only way out is through, no gain without pain. You know, we're very conditioned and very programmed into that singular reality, which, while it's true, it's not the only truth. And so now we're waking up to other possibilities and other potentials that we never dreamed of in this reality, Horatio. And so we're learning, we're experiencing, we're waking up, right? We're waking up. So yeah, to the truth of who we are, infinite in nature, magnificent beyond imagining. Wow. And we're understanding that we actually have greater choice than what we ever realized before. And that is in how we allow ourselves full health and strength. There's a story where a year and a half ago, a woman called me up 10 minutes before I was due on a Zoom session call, unknown number from North Carolina. Why would I pick it up? Especially in that moment, but I did. And she was crying, and I had to call her back later, of course, and I got her story. And she had just come out very recently of a body cast from back surgery. And she had found out 8 years before, just standing in her kitchen doing, never know mind, nothing, significant. And all of a sudden she found herself on the floor because her vertebrae, 4 of her vertebrae had broken. And that led to a discovery that she had what's called brittle bone disease, and a whole series over 8 years of, heavy duty painkillers. She was on 3 at the time that I talked to her. Well, she had been. And so she had just come out of her most recent 3-month body cast a couple of weeks before that, and in her easy chair, just scrolling on her TV YouTube channels, and stumbled serendipitously in one of 3 interviews that I'd done for a woman, Kelly Rivers, with Kelly Rivers. And I always say, hey, if I'm on a broadcast somewhere in some form, let's just have at least 10 minutes to, do the protocol, because I know the incredible difference it can make for people, whether they realize it or not. And they can be as unconscious about it as they want, but I know their life is going to change for the better. So what fun is that? So, but there were 3 other ones where we somehow didn't get that chance. But the one that did have that 10 minutes was 40 minutes into the broadcast, and it was about 70-minute interview. We went blah, blah, blah. And so that's what she was listening to. And she was just, as I say, just laid back there, just allowing and hanging out. And after the call, she got up in 0 pain, seriously, 0 pain, full use of her body, and went and washed out her bathtub. She had not had a bath in 8 years. She didn't shower or anything, but baths she couldn't get in or out of the bathtub. And even washing all the angles of a tub, like I'm on the go, so I usually just shower. I think I'd like to be a bath person, but it hasn't quite happened anyway. So washing out the bathtub for my grandchildren, whatever, it's just angles, right? She just washed out her bathtub, hopped in, and had a 4-hour bath and hopped back out fine. She called me on the 3rd day, some symbolic thing there, but she called me on the 3rd day and she'd been fine. She'd gone cold turkey off her medication, no withdrawal symptoms, no side effects, nothing. And that was like a miracle. But we are the miracle, and we all have that program. So many people have healed broken bones doing this protocol, and they don't have to believe in it. My tagline is beyond belief, creating new realities. And so it's pretty awesome when you start playing in that field and allowing the potential to show up and show yourself something different. And, I know Andrew would like to share a story here tonight. Maybe this is a good time. What do you think, Andrew?
As Henry David Thoreau would say, methinks it's a great time. So I just came back from a pulmonologist, my dear.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was today.
Yes, and I have been waiting for this moment because when we first met, I had been diagnosed with something called emphysema, which is a part of COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Incurable, irreversible. It's going to take you down. It's going to take you out. So this is what I've been living with this year of 2022. Among many other wonderful things, that was one of the not quite so wonderful things. Shared that with some of my kids, my family, and said, look, there's a situation here, and you need to know that. So anyway, Maureen, I know that right now you can tell me precisely what happened at the pulmonologist's office, and you don't know, but you do know. Would you kindly tell us collectively what?
I want to hear it from your lips, baby.
You do know, don't you?
I do.
I know you know. So basically, it was probably a misdiagnosis. And the CAT scans and all of those things screwed up, and it happens, you know. And so as far as anyone can tell, including this beautiful, very intelligent, very bright man called Dr. Eric Stevens in Loveland, Colorado, who's about 6'6" tall and really he's adorable, right? And he's really bright. So there's no question about that. We're driving home, and Connie says, I think we should call him and say, what was it, Connie?
Were you surprised?
Were you surprised? No, of course he wasn't surprised, because he went through the whole thing and there was nothing there. And he was looking for what was there in the reports and the analysis, and there was nothing there. And he didn't express surprise. He's a good dancer, you know, he moved with the vibe. And here we are. Maureen, as far as anyone can tell, including a real expert in the field, I do not have emphysema, which is a good thing. I'm very happy to announce that right now, a week before my wedding. You know, I mean, who would want to marry a man with emphysema? My breathing is completely clear and superb. There may still be some remnant stuff. We shall see about that. It'd be nice to be completely through it and forget about it. So that's that report, Maureen. And you knew that already, and I know you knew that. And I knew that too, but there was a part of me that was like, can it really be true? Yeah.
And I'd be happy to marry a man with emphysema.
Would you?
I knew that. I was going
But
to say
I'm
that.
just so happy he doesn't have it. Thanks
Yes,
to Maureen
yes, yes.
Edwardson and the magic of IRT.
Hmm.
Oh, that's so wonderful. How joyous.
Yeah. You know, and this is what our third little miracle that we've done. That was started out with COVID, and the most outrageous sore throat ever. And then it progressed to just a couple of weeks ago in the evening, and I woke up with this racing heart, this so-called tachycardia, when your heart is doing 140 and it normally does 70, and you're lying in bed going, I think I'm going to look at what my pulse oximeter says. And I put this thing on my finger and I go, ooh, 138, Connie, it might be a situation here. Shall I call Maureen? Maybe. And then we're there, and Maureen says the simplest of things. She says, is there anything that you are ready to let go of? And I said, yes, and thank you. And that machine, that little device on my finger, went from a beats per minute heart rate of 138 down to 50. And Connie was snuggled up with me there, and she saw it as well. So it wasn't just, I had a witness. Can I get a witness? There was a witness. It went from 138 down to 50. Heartbeat restored to normal, and there it was. And then just yesterday, Maureen, we had a little session on the subject of this emphysema thing, knowing that I was going in for this assessment of 2 different tests, one being a CAT scan, which we hadn't done before, and the other being a pulmonary function test, which is about 2 hours of intense fun thing. I'm an old skin diver, spear fisherman, so I'm used to my oxygen, I'm used to diving, I'm used to holding my breath, I'm used to functioning under challenging circumstances. So that was relatively challenging and a lot of fun. And coming out of that, the technician had said, you know what, there's 2 numbers we look for. And in the first number, if there's a 20% improvement, they write papers about stuff like that. And you're 40% improvement, double what people are amazed by. So, and the second one, and I'm not sure what it was, that we look for is this other number. And in that one, you've improved by 107%. That sounds to me like a significant improvement. So anyway, I don't want to take too much of the time here, Maureen, but I just want to say that to all of our friends. And by the way, you know, from Olivia to Janice to Bob and Noel and all of our beloved friends who are on this call, in Victoria, hey, we love you. This stuff's real. Listen to this young lady. She has some amazing things going on here. I am living proof.
And the COVID sore throat went away miraculously the next day. So you left that part out.
Well,
That was
they,
not
heard
good news,
it.
wasn't
they
it?
could
Okay.
they could infer that by
And look how young you guys look. Oh my gosh.
I know we're busy reverting me to what age?
I believe it was 22.
It was 22. I'm thinking of adjusting that to 25. 22 is the age I lost my virginity. I've never been able to find it since. And so it seems like a good
And
time.
neither do you want to.
But I've got a photograph of me at 25 holding up a big fish that I'd speared, and I look like, I don't know, some Adonis kind of dude, you know? So anyway, somewhere between 22 and 20, we don't have to go all the way back to 22. 25 is fine, trust
That's
me.
cool. That's good.
Yeah. Yep. That's me.
The blueprint memory of that is in the Akashic records, and you can clear, you know, everything in between that's non-essential, and allow your choice to be resonated and acted out, because the body really is 100% responder to consciousness. 100%. Yeah. The body believes what you tell it. The body responds to what's in your field of consciousness and acts it out. And that is where we feel a victim, you know, to everything around us, and not, you know, and more helpless. And so this is really fantastic awareness that we can now, you know, take charge on a different level. We might not be perfect to start with, but we have ability to practice and to resonate and to continue. And the joy too is, after you've even had one experience with the IRG protocol, you get to have a spot programmed of end result chemistry of wholeness on a whole new level, and frequency of greater freedom to be more and more of your magnificent self. And you get to activate that on a daily basis before sleeping, when you wake up. We know that sleeping, you know, is when the body does more of its greater efficiency, rejuvenation, get out of your head, you know, and your body can do its thing. And dream time, you know, sorts things through. And then in the morning, activating that. It's like a super duper defrag antiviral program for our human supercomputer. And I would just like to add in, oh, by the way, thank you so much, Andrew, for sharing that. That's magnificent. And you are just living proof of someone people on this call know and love and respect. And so that is significant than some stranger story, even though it's pretty amazing, right? So I'm just so grateful that you guys could be here tonight and support the work this way, because it is phenomenal. Yeah, yeah. And so I just want to say, you know, Dr. William Brown, he's a biophysicist, fully credentialed, PhD'd in both biology and unified field physics, Nassim Haramein's Resonance Academy. And the one really huge nugget, I mean, I get all these nuggets from William all the time. However, the one that really was like stunning for me was his description of the body. And you'll hear Bruce Lipton talk about, you know, 50 trillion cells in our body, and other people 37, 32. I don't know who counts these things. Anyway, William talks about 100 trillion cells. And just take this in, you know, there's going to be no test here, but it just shows just the impact of what we're sitting in, what we're breathing into, what this is. And 100 trillion cells, each neuron in that 100 trillion cellular system has 100,000 potential connections, okay? Each neuron, 100,000 potential connections. Each one of those 100,000 potential connections of each tiny neuron has 85 billion wormholes in other dimensional realities.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're a happening place, this body. It's a machine. And believe it or not, it's instantly responding, acting out what's in the field. And so change the field, you know, change your body, change your body.
Well, Maureen, just want to jump in here. Now, are you going to take us through a process? There is a mother here would like to bring on their child and for you to work with, but I don't know if are we going to go through a process first, or you want to speak with them now? Just tell me how you want it to roll.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, you know, the really cool thing is that we're all one, and especially with our children, and you know, again, you know, energetically, I believe that our greatest impact energetically to help shape shift, you know, our children, support our children that way, is up to age 19. I don't know who makes up these numbers. Oh, and again, I asked William when I bumped into him at 1440 at the resonance retreat in 2019. And I said, I just wanted to make sure I was giving people the right information. And then he said something that just broke me up. He said, yeah, it's my favorite thing to count those wormholes. And I went, oh no. He must have heard that funny little question in my head. Oh, busted, right? Yeah, it's so funny. Anyhow, but I have a very strange sense of humor sometimes. Please forgive me. And so, yes, for the person with a child, I always work with the parent first anyway. And, we know that every act of healing that happens is benefiting everyone, especially our loved ones in some way. And we always think that it's because they have to respond to us differently or whatever. The truth is, with IRT, is actually designed to allow everybody that's heart and DNA connected with us, spontaneous and instant shift at the level that they're ready. So and one story about that is a grown-up son, 42, with a mother who contacted me for some help with an alcohol issue. It wasn't, really bad, but she just didn't like that it was there at all. And it was compulsive. And so why, she wanted to be free of it, and wasn't interfering with her life or anything. She just didn't like it. And so I said, well, let's just work with you. She wanted her son to have some sessions with me. And I said, well, let's just see what happens with you. And so we did a series of sessions with her. I like working 5 times with someone. It just really allows that penny to drop and a whole new paradigm to open up in a different way. That number 5, we can talk about later. And so anyway, it turned out that a few weeks later, and he, by the way, this son, it was always his whole life in complete denial that he had any particular alcohol issue whatsoever, and he was just fine to get off his back, right? He was just fine, and so he actually, on his own cognizance, he phoned her up and said, "Hey, I just want to tell you that you really have been right, and alcohol is a problem in my life."
Wow.
So I have booked myself into treatment. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we do have Victoria Bard here, and she would like to chat with you. And
Yeah,
I'm not sure whether Braden is going to join us or not, but go ahead. And is that okay?
Yeah, of
We
course.
do that? Sure. Okay, Victoria, I'm going to introduce you. It's our good friend Victoria Bard, who's also Barbara Marx Hubbard aficionado, good friend. Here you go.
Hi. So I have asked if he can, be a recipient here, and he's not necessarily interested or understanding why. So if you have anything you can say, he's standing right here. And then we'll see if he wants to go back up to his room or stay down here. I'm not sure.
Well, it doesn't matter if he's there or up in his room. He will receive whatever it is that is. I see you already know. Yeah, you already know. So yeah. Yeah. So you're free to go, honey. How old are you?
15.
Yeah, great.
15.
Yeah, that's great. And if you want to hang out and just listen, because this is not about doing individual sessions, this is doing a group session, because I can work with people one-on-one, like individually, or I can work with thousands simultaneously, because I don't do anything to you or for you. I developed a system that is a formula of questions that are all designed for yes. Are you breathing? Yes. That's about as hard as it gets. And it addresses the unconscious material that has, contributed or created whatever your condition is, that is bothering you, and that's limiting you in a way that, is not desirable. So your body already has the programs to know how to heal itself. This just helps to activate that at an unconscious level. And it's pretty fun to see what happens. Yeah, because the body's a miracle. And when you put your higher consciousness, give permission for that to run the show beyond your conscious mind, there's nothing to think about, do, or make happen. There's nothing for your body to act out, because everything that your body is experiencing is actually coming from your field of consciousness at whatever level of unconsciousness. And so that's why I call this unconscious conscious creation. because it's essential to deal with the unconscious material. And and Braden, is that your name?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is, you are a supercomputer, okay? The body is the supercomputer. So what IRT is, it's a formula of questions, like I said. So it's like activating a super duper defrag antiviral program for your supercomputer, that your body, your communication device that's experiencing life. So it's super cool. And once you experience it, and it doesn't matter, I mean, you can hang out in the background there if you like, and then get a direct experience of your own self quietly within your own, head. You don't have to say anything. And then you'll have a place that's programmed on your body, like an icon on your desktop to run the program. And so, yeah, it's very cool. And there's nothing to figure out or, think about or answer or know or share, like nothing. So it's very easy that way. So, and I don't even have to know what your challenge is. So that's really very cool. Yeah, so yeah, computers, what we've created in computer land, comes off the template of our brain and who we are, already programmed. And we know with computer technology that the more that's programmed into the system, the access corresponding, the access on the other side is correspondingly simple. So what is more, what's the word I'm looking for? Intense, complicated, complex than our bodies. Our liver is doing 100,000 enzymatic processes every second. That's just on a default level. And then you add in consciousness with the infinite, and you can speed that up even, or you can shift everything in your reality, because of, all of life is just energy, it's just information. And so based on that, there's nothing that's fixed, and everything can do its thing. The body has a program to know what, full health and strength and whatever it is, freedom is for you, for all of us. And so we just, put that onto, into the mix and allow, the defrag and the antiviral program to happen in the background while you go on a holiday somewhere in your mind or have a nap. You don't have to be conscious for it. So it's pretty cool. And it's very different and it's unique in what I've heard anyone give me feedback. I hesitate to say that anything's unique because we're all drawing from the same source, the same information, but it is pretty cool. And if you ever decide, tell your mom that you'd like to have a one-on-one session with me, sure, we can arrange that. I'm happy just to share that for free. And I just love to gift this work to people and have fun, because you have your own ways, of playing in that field. And it doesn't matter what metaphors or what path you choose, to allow this to happen. You can have a lot of fun with it. So yeah, so hang out now, or, connect with me another time and we'll just see what's possible. It'd be fun. I'd like to meet you at some point. Doesn't have to happen now.
He's going up now.
Yeah, great.
He stayed
Okay.
much longer than I thought.
Yeah, well, thanks, Braden.
She was talking to you. She just said thanks.
Yeah, I was talking to you.
He was listening.
Yeah, I know. I have two girls. They survived me somehow at the age of 37 and 39. Yeah, so that's awesome. Thank you. And it'll be interesting for you to report back either to me, on my website and or Noel and Bob, and see what might transpire.
Oh, really?
This evening, absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm.
I will let you know.
Yes, he's in the house, and he doesn't even have to be in the house, right?
Yep, he's in the house, right upstairs.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through a protocol. Any other questions before we go diving into the multiverse?
I don't see any at this point.
Okay.
So let's dive, and I'm sure there will be some.
Well, you never know. You never know. And it's really easy and simple. It's it probably all this buildup, it will underwhelm you. So let's just go right into this. Nope, you're not doing anything particular, Victoria. You don't even have to hold intention for him. You've already got that. Yes, or not even that. You see, you got the clue. Let's just all go in because we're all connected, all part of each other, and you and your son in particular will happen. And if anything more wants to happen, hey, just let me know, and we'll take it from there. We'll be in the moment. And so, are you breathing? Just be present with your breath in whatever way you're breathing. You don't have to do any special form of breathing. That is the breath of life. It's the breath of consciousness. It's the breath of spirit. We're breathing our portion of great spirit, our spirit, into our individuated body to have an experience that's uniquely ours. And remembering simultaneously that great spirit, the universe, God, consciousness, whatever we want, whatever name we want to put on this greater field of consciousness, is the all of everything that is. Infinite in nature, as are we, as we're breathing it in. Everything's within you, because guess what? You're breathing it in. No separation. And at the same time, we had many and varied beliefs and different spiritual helpers and teams. People that are atheist or agnostic can also do this because it's pure science. It's who we are. So it's beyond belief, creating new realities, and belief also runs a role here. Runs a role. That's an interesting term. And so just allow yourself to say yes and thank you to whatever spiritual team and beliefs that you have, that whatever is there to support you on this journey. They know who they are. They like to be invited. And just keep it simple. Yes and thank you. And then moving on into the body. This is not beyond the body. This includes the body. It's all one system. You can't have one without the other. So, feeling where your body is touching the world around you, where your hands and feet are. There's no right way to position yourself. There's no right way to do anything in this protocol. And just notice. Maybe where your clothes are touching your skin. And we talked about the body being a miracle machine. And stress and trauma and belief and conditioning does tend to contract it and shut it down below its operating capacity. So we want to switch it back on, all of not only the pathways and the programs that have been switched off or narrowed or contracted, but also we want to up the frequency into activating automatically and effortlessly our evolutionary codes and our spiritual inheritance of all those qualities of spirit. And once we're there, woohoo, then that is a takeoff point for teleportation and bilocation and physical immortality and commanding, and evolving ourselves together in the cosmic chrysalis, creating heaven on earth. And so the operative words, very simply put, it's a voice activated system because it's so intelligent. So I'm going to count to 3. And even though we have our mics turned off, I'd like everybody just to put it into the field together, the words switch on body. Okay, got it? You ready? 1, 2, 3. Switch on body. Yay, team. And so now we're at the command center, believe it or not. So I am choosing, we're not used to commanding our bodies or our realities, like we're like, dealing with it all the time as best we can, So now I am choosing. That's the operative phrase that bridges us into the next level of potential. So we could even preface that with, if anything were possible, I am choosing full strength, full health, full happiness, full freedom, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. It's a big one for many of us these days. Relationships of every kind, especially that one with us and our greatest selves and all that is source and universal consciousness. And just taking a nice deep breath. And we're also allowing all levels of memory to be addressed. We're allowing all unresolved issues, known and unknown, in all those different aspects of who we are and more that we don't even know how to name. All levels of memory, this life here now, every microsecond, going all the way back to when you popped into the world, all the time you swam around inside, drinking up your mama's soup and all her programs, right to the moment of conception, and beyond all of the information of your ancestral DNA, which is also in your field. And beyond that, all the soul memory, past, present, concurrent, parallel, future, all collapse into this precious moment. All we have is each moment. So collapse into this freshness of the ability to choose again in a different, clear space. And then also the memory of the planet, because we're breathing each other. You ever heard that before? We're breathing out old dead, cells, 300 million of them a day. And other people were breathing in each other's dead cells to rebuild ourselves with, like, oh, gross. However, that is the reality. We're all physically one by breathing recycled air. And all my relations is how the First Nations and Indigenous people talk about it. They know stuff. And so now, also galactic memory, whatever that could mean to each of us, and including the greater cosmic field of consciousness. I just need to unblip that little blooper. Okay. And so, yes. And so here we are at the precipice of freedom in a whole new level, wholeness in a whole new way. And so allowing now all of our multidimensional selves to be coherently realigned in the next level of expression of our greater selves. Whatever you put into your intention that you're choosing freedom of and or creation of, we're now allowing anything that is no longer relevant, no longer serving any useful or positive purpose that's unresolved in your field, to be up for neutralization and freedom and letting go, whatever words we want to put it, transform. And allowing all of this to happen. Be happy for no reason, feel inner peace and trust in the loving conscious universe. I love that word pronoia. Many of you may have heard that. And the definition is the opposite of paranoia, meaning that pronoia is that not only does the universe and spirit and ourselves have our own back, the universe is conspiring in our favor. Think about that. Imagine. So the trend is always to more coherence and more support and more alignment, more harmony, homeostasis. The body itself is always in the mode of trying to rebalance itself, bring itself into homeostasis. So now allowing all of that to be on automatic activation to the next level of your greater self, of whatever you're ready for tonight. So now is a series of agreements that is, these questions are only designed for yes. And you're saying yes to yourself and your higher self and all that is. Nothing I'm doing to you or for you. So are you choosing to allow all this to unfold in the safest and most appropriate way for you and all concerned at all times, Do I see some nods? Excellent. Are you choosing to allow greater ease and gentleness in how this happens beyond what you ever thought possible? And are you allowing effortless grace to guide the way to instant and permanent shift for what is no longer relevant or no longer serving any useful positive purpose on any aspect of your being? Yes. And are you choosing to allow the part of you that's open to something different being possible in a different way than what you may have ever experienced or thought possible to also be in charge? And are you choosing to allow the part of you that's ready to have your gifts revealed on the next level? And some of you, if you don't think you have any, yes, to just dissolve everything that's, in the way. And then automatically, like the tip of the iceberg, whoo, there you are. You just pop up automatically and are revealed in your magnificence. Like Michelangelo's David, all he did was carve away everything that wasn't David, and David appeared. Yes, we're in there. We're in that block of marble that we sometimes call our life. Stuck, not so much. So where were we? And now, are you allowing, yes, that part of you that's really ready to be more of yourself than ever before to be in charge? And are you allowing the part of you that's saying yes to all of this to be in charge? And are you allowing the parts that maybe aren't quite ready to trust in that deeper sense that all is well, that everything is unfolding in divine right order, in the bigger picture that we don't have yet, and everything has a reason and an opportunity, and we go the aha, 2020 stuff. And so now, last question, are you allowing the part of you that knows how the heck to go do all this beyond your conscious mind need to think or make anything happen, or even ability to track, is quantum instant beyond our awareness in the unconscious realms, beyond the body's need to act anything out? So the body is just there, receptive, at rest, and your mind can just drift wherever it wants. You can have a nap. This is not where it's happening at this point. We're delegating up to the most efficient level of our potential here now. Yes, and as that's happening, everything is getting taken care of in the background automatically. It's all getting neutralized and dissolved and let go of, released, whatever words, transformed. And automatic balance is emerging. Harmony is happening. Alignment, attunement to your greatest self, activated on a whole new level. And your only job is to allow. It's a feminine, receptive principle. And I'll give you, a couple of minutes, because really, truly, by the time you say yes to it all, it's already done. And yes, it's nice just to kind of hang out in that place of being. And if you feel like it, you can go into creative mode of how you choose to be and how you choose to manifest and activate conditions in your body or your life, whatever it might be. And I suggest that you just take a moment to notice how you're feeling. If you're, excuse me, dropping into a deeper sense of relaxation, that's a common feeling. You might feel expanded or light, whatever it is. Don't want to suggest, anything that's not there for you, and just allow yourself to notice. And as you're noticing, once again, be aware of your breath. We're going to anchor in some simultaneous events here, creating a switch, because chemical memory in the brain works through associative conditions. So we're associating some conditions here, how you're feeling, whatever that might be. And awareness of your breath, this time in and out of your heart, 360. Dropping in chemistries of love and gratitude and appreciation. And noticing where your tongue is in your mouth, and or choosing, maybe where your hands are already resting, and or finger and thumb, or your heart. Let's just choose a spot to anchor in this new level of wholeness, this frequency, this chemistry of wholeness, this frequency of a whole new level of freedom, to be more comfortable in your own skin than ever before, more of your greater self, activated in purpose and passion, joyful, happy for no reason, just upshifted. Yeah. And just marinate all that together, allowing yourself just to be centered in your breath. And so now I'd like to invite you into 5 deeper breaths that we talked about earlier to program. It's create this new program that you have access through. It's just a single touch and a breath, like an icon. You've downloaded the program, you've personalized it, and now, you pressed enter. It's done its thing. You're here now on a whole new level of being, freedom, wholeness. So as you choose a spot, you can have 2 spots if you want. You can have your heart and your tongue, or finger and thumb, doesn't matter. It's all holographic. And so now just allowing yourself your first deeper breath while you're touching your spots. And as you breathe out and exhale, just let your hands drop, or your tongue. The next inward breath, touching again. And breathing out, letting go. And 3 more times in your own rhythm. And so you might like to, and just a reminder from what I said earlier, the time to do your touch breath. You can do a single one, you can do 5, you can do 3, bippity boppity boo, you can do 500, and you get to choose every time. You might want another, series of breaths. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And it's a circuit. However, when you do it faithfully on a daily basis, morning and night, or before sleep, and when you wake up, even if you nap, whatever, that is, deepening that groove, that pathway in the brain that likes that repetition. And then another way to really use it to upgrade it and increase the frequency is when you get a great hug from somebody, or you see a beautiful rainbow, or, something wonderful happens. Especially those things that you don't expect. It's just, wow, add that. So you're building on the strength of that frequency and that chemistry all the time. And every time you do it, I just really want to make sure you get this. It's the hardest part because it's the simplest. Every time you do your touch breath, even once, you're doing a full-scale matrix clearing of all the different ingredients. It's the soup of wholeness, where all the ingredients of every step, every agreement has contributed a flavor and a chemistry too. So it's the end result we're talking about. When you click on the link, run the program, and it's that simple. It's very elegant and efficient. Yeah. So would we all like to come back? You can put in the chat if you like, what you're feeling, if you're feeling anything in particular or not. And even if you think you don't feel anything, watch out. Yeah, notice over the next few days, and listen to your friends and family. They might say, why didn't you react? Why didn't you get angry when I did that, Mom? Anyhow, so would we like to come back in the room?
Yeah, we're all back in the room. Thank you,
Okay,
everyone.
I don't
Yeah.
have my view.
Yeah.
I will get
Does
back.
anyone want to just give me a wave if you want to speak.
See what you said, you know, that, you know, you
There's
thought,
Bonnie. Bonnie, I'm
that
going to
there's
ask you to unmute.
excellent, Bonnie. How are you feeling, Bonnie? When you take, okay.
I'm feeling wonderful. I
Wonderful.
was feeling very calm. And then when you mentioned the heart, all of a sudden it got excited. I thought it was very strange. But anyway, then it calmed down and I'm feeling wonderful right now.
Wonderful. And every time you do your touch prep, you may or you may not have a revisitation of that physical experience, but no, it's doing the same thing. And you have that physical experience to know that this is something is happening. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a comment or?
Janice, I'm going to jump in here, and then Olivia.
Janice,
Here.
you,
Yeah,
okay.
here I am. Okay. Can you see me? I'm doing this on my phone and sitting on the couch.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to see
Yeah,
everybody,
so
right?
We can see you, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm here. I'm very tired. The house was struck by lightning today. And even though it didn't strike me, it really resonated through my body and I was nauseous all day long. And it blew out my internet like 20 minutes before I was supposed to go on air for Humanity Rising. So I've been feeling sort of separated from my body all day and I was very, very tired. It's been a long day. So anyway, I feel quite peaceful, but I also feel I'm about to cry. It's like a new program uploaded. And I'm not quite sure how to use it yet. You know, like when Windows update or something like that.
You'll be given the information as you need it.
I didn't know what I didn't.
lightning
Sometimes it's just no words, but I have a
Yes.
sense that you get that I'm experiencing something.
Absolutely. And the lightning strike of your house was no accident. You know, that was a precursor to this new program. So you just got an extra boost.
I
of
can't
freedom.
believe you said that because I knew that somehow. We never have thunder and lightning this time of year. And like I said, I was just about to go on the air and Jim and Nina, Humanity Rising, were waiting. And all of a sudden, lightning hit the corner of my house and I felt it. And I just knew. Again, you all who know me well know that I'm rarely at a loss for words. So, ha, Connie's saying in Andrew. But as you can see, I'm experiencing something.
Wonderful. And so you have your whole new program already embedded in your.
Should I ask something?
Yes.
You all? I could really use a hug.
Oh.
I'm not unhappy. I just could really use a hug. Thank you. So go on. What were you going to say? Oh, thank you.
Take it all in. You are so loved.
Thank you all. Thank you. Wow.
Well, thank you, Janet, for sharing that. That's pretty significant. Do you have visions and projects that.
Do I
that you-
want? Say that again?
Yeah. Do you have visions and projects that you're working on, or have vision for, you know, I don't know what you do. I know that you travel in pretty cool circles.
Well, I'm here, aren't I?
There you go. And this goes for all of you. If you happen to have certain ideas or visions or things in your heart that you want to manifest, you don't have to express them. And yeah, I had to be on the other convergence meeting this morning at 8, and I'm always on Humanity Rising, so I'll be watching that replay. I hear that you were brilliant, so I'm looking forward to that very much so. And yeah, sometimes the hardest thing is to ask for love and help, and even though we know it's there, and we're so busy giving out to everyone else. So with everyone, if you have a project or a vision or something in your heart that you want to support or create, you know, like a sun free of whatever, go into the end result of that right now. And just feel it, and touch your spot in the meantime, wherever it is, and just really feel it and know it. And just marinate with that knowingness and that experience, that creation with ease and grace. And give gratitude for that next level of wholeness and creation, co-creation. And when you're ready, do 3 more touch breaths, bippity boppity boo. And this just makes everything smoother and more fun and more supportive. Whatever it is we're engaged with, wherever our heart's path lies. Ah, I heard you mouth those words, but I didn't hear you. You can unmute, guess.
I just said bippity boppity. Andrew and Connie put that up there.
Boo.
I was about to get in this shower when all of a sudden Connie's note to Janice that I should pop on here. I was giving Mom her dessert. For those of you who don't know, I live with my 93-year-old mother, and I was giving her organic brownies and vanilla ice cream. And I saw this message. I was like, I was just getting in the shower. It's been a rough day. And I went, nope, I'm supposed to be here. So thank you all.
I'm happy to see you, Janice.
What?
Yeah.
I'm happy to see you, Janice.
I was just going to say, Victoria, it's been too long. It's good to see you. Good to see you. We should try and catch up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
Victoria's back. She kind of bippity bops in and out, but she's here to stay.
Okay, well, that's
This
good
is
to
true.
know. We did a great thing about, actually it was 2 years ago now, where we brought in Uncle Lewis. We brought in some wonderful nunkery from originating nunkery from Australia. We did, what was that? What was supposed to be? We did a thing. With Uncle Lewis and the didgeridoo, and yeah.
Well, we have a few more that want to get in here. You know, I don't want to take all your time, Maureen, but I know Olivia had her hand up.
I'm flowing. I'm all water, actually. So I'm good. I'm good to be here.
Very good.
If we can flow together, if everybody's good with that, and the people that aren't, need to go, they can drop off, and that's good for you guys. Yeah, I just wanted to say, Janice, that you're a perfect example of unconscious conscious evolution. Because you just had a knowing and you followed that.
I just want to say that it's so nice, Janice, that you're on today, because I've been enjoying you coming in every week, and I always look forward to what you say and what you share. And it was wonderful to be able to give you a hug and that you asked for it. It's Olivia, and I'm just really glad you're on tonight. So thank you for all you're doing and your mom and everything. Thank you for sharing. So I also wanted to say that I've been very down. I've lost a very dear mentor who lost, she died quite rapidly. And it took me a while to have the grief hit me. She passed a couple of weeks ago. But I've just been feeling a lot of grief, and I've been feeling very down. I was scammed, and I won't go into all the particulars, but it's been very challenging in the last since December 1st, and day after my birthday. And what I felt, Maureen, first of all, I've been referred to you, and I've been wanting to call you by Connie and Andrew, so I was going to call you today. So it's wonderful you're on tonight. Thank you, Bob and Noel. The other thing is that I felt immediately, Kathy, thank you, when you did your Akashic record frequency, you kicked me in the ass, excuse me, so that I got out of my own way and I started to feel the frequency rise. And then when you came on, Maureen, my left brain was trying to figure it all out, and my right brain said, just let go. Just don't worry, don't figure it out, just be there. And so I felt my frequency change. And I didn't follow everything you said, which was probably very good, that I wasn't trying to figure it out. And I've just submitted a book, a first draft of a book. And a lot of people here have been very, very supportive, and it's been wonderful to have you in my posse. But I haven't heard from the person that the book is about. And so I've sort of been feeling down and just wondering, is it okay? Because I really want her to be the reviewer, And so it just was really beautiful to have that also as part of this, so I could look ahead and see my vision of how it's going to help people, and get out of my own way. So thank you. But I really felt the vibration, and with both Kathy and you, it was just, I needed to be reminded of that because I've been sort of stuck in my own gurk.
Well, that's a wonderful report. Thank you. And this is all about reminding ourselves, and being reminded, because, we forget and we get, contracted, and that's, our perception gets very narrow because that's our chemistry that's washing through everything. So it's hard to do that sometimes on your own. And now you have a touch breath that when you get into that, narrowed down state, you can expand your view and clear. And what gets cleared is gone permanently for what's ready. So you're always building into a new level of.
You touch yourself in a particular. I touch my heart, and you said, where else do you touch? Just anywhere, or?
Well, no, it doesn't matter. Your heart's enough. But sometimes people want to do finger and thumb, or they have their spots already for meditating or whatever, And so I usually recommend the heart. I try not to recommend, but on groups like yours, the heart's always a good thought. And not everybody relates to that. So it's just what people relate to and what's easy, no matter where you are, who you're with, what's going on, right? Not everybody wants to go, Yeah. So tongue in the roof of the mouth, especially, if your hands get busy doing things, it's sort of an added bonus.
Just like this, or do you touch your tongue?
Yeah, just on the
top of the mouth. Oh,
you can do it wherever you want. There's no right or wrong way. You choose and you play with it.
Okay, I'll play with it. Thank you.
You're welcome. No right or wrong.
Okay, my turn.
Yes.
Okay, first I'm going to say there's a question I have, and also Victoria had. If people watch this replay, will they be able to get the benefit? And I think the answer is yes, but you tell me.
I think that my story answered that question of that woman that was out, just, listening to a replay
Right,
a
okay.
couple weeks later, and just
Mhm.
sitting in her, chair, flicking through the YouTube channels,
Mhm.
and wasn't quite conscious about it all, but
Okay.
she received, yeah, and that's actually probably an even more efficient state to be in,
Mhm.
one of just allowing, because she was just hanging out, right?
Oh,
And when my book first got launched, 11/11/11, and people had pre-ordered it, so then it arrived, and people are, this one woman, she wasn't feeling well that Monday morning, and Amazon knocked at the door with her book, and she got up, she was really feeling unwell. She was fine on the weekend, but just something hit her, and so there she was, and as the door opened the package, oh, it's my book, and then she just fell back into a nap, because as I say, she wasn't feeling well, and she woke up and she felt all better. And I've had reports that the book itself has a frequency that
Yeah.
heal, and yeah, but again, it's all frequency anyway. It doesn't matter, you don't have to have the physical book.
Mhm.
Some copies are around of the old original. I don't necessarily recommend it, simply because the PDF that's on my website that I would love to share with all of you is it's an updated version, updated language. Yeah.
Great. Okay, the other question is that, let's say that someone has a condition of, I don't know, lupus, and you keep on saying, I have lupus or lupus, lupus, lupus. Should you just take that word out of your vocabulary? Or if you keep saying it, does that keep it in your field?
Absolutely. Again, I am diabetic, I am this, anything we put after the words I am. And yet remember also, Noel, that with IRT, it works in the background beyond the conscious mind. It doesn't matter what we're thinking. Of course, what we're thinking matters. It's not what I mean. I mean that it doesn't limit what happens for you, because when you've gone through those agreements and you allow the higher part of yourself that knows the greater truth, then that is what is, running the show.
Very good. Kathy must be impressed. She says she just purchased your PDF.
Oh, thank you so much, Kathy. Remember, you can share that with everybody that you want to, in December. I love to gift it out. So thank you for supporting that and doing that.
You are a gift. And anyone else have any question here before we close for the evening?
Did you
Question
see
or comment? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Victoria, you have an announcement.
Oh,
Okay.
I had a follow-up to the question about a condition.
Oh.
Bruce Lipton's book, he talks about how we can change anything and everything. It was a Biology of Belief. Is that
Yeah.
his book? Yeah. The condition for Braden is one that he lists in his book as, but not these single genetic mutations, not this condition that he has. So that's why I'm asking, because in that book, that specific health condition or genetic inheritance. So I'm wondering how,
Yes.
even though he said it's not possible, it's
It is.
got to be possible.
It
in
is
some way.
actually possible. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely there's update on that. And Bruce published that book in 2005, and I would expect he would feel differently now. And in addition to that, that honestly doesn't matter, because the truth is everything's changeable. I have a good friend now who we met through hospicing a friend, a mutual friend, and our mutual friend was there to help her live, and she was there to help Maggie die or pass over into the other realms. And she was anxious and eager for that. She was like a kid, really excited to be on the other side. And anyway, very special person. But Penny had MS for 20 years and was in a wheelchair and a walker and cane, everything. And so she did a series of sessions with me over a summer. But first of all, she was addicted to opioids, and just with her pain meds for her body and stuff. And she ended up coming upstairs. She was a neighbor, and I did a quick session. It was her birthday, and gave her a session. And she went home unbeknownst to me and flushed all her medications down the toilet. I would never recommend that. I don't say that to people. And by the way, if any of you are on any kind of medications, be aware of any kind of increased side effects, because when you're healthy, you don't need those medications to the same level. So go check with your doctor, go do blood tests if you're noticing something a little strange. I always recommend that. And this is very rapid, you know, in your body's recovery system. So you want to make sure that you're not continuing to feed it what it doesn't want. And so, yeah, amazing things can happen. And so she, and then after, you know, being with the same neurologist for so many years, the neurologist had to actually call out her name. She didn't recognize her in the waiting room. And and then she invited Penny to come and give talks to her other MS patients. And so it's pretty amazing what can happen. And she went to London in 2013 with her husband for their anniversary, and she just took a collapsible cane for going up and down the buses, you know, the double-decker buses, just because to keep her balance. But she walked 8 hours a day on concrete, never had a problem. Yeah. So, you know, and MRIs, everything, you know, shows her totally free of MS. So everything is possible. And it's really a joy to know that we all, each and every one of us, have that program installed. So it's just about waking it up and allowing whatever is appropriate and safe for you at any given time to be shifted in that other realm. And there we go. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maureen. This has been mind-blowing.
Can I add a little bit of a small commercial? Is that I got some new programs happening January 7th and 14th, and you can find them when you go to my website, maureenedwardson.com. And when you look at we scroll down and you see 3 portals kind of thing. It's the one on the left side. Are you, do you believe you're only human? Something like that. And so then it says January 23 programs. And if you click on that, you'll see like 3 tabs, and there's 2 programs, and one is a combo. And the first one starts January 7th, and I call that Essential IRT, which is basically, contributing our knowledge building, in the knowledge matrix of our greater selves, and what the science and the knowledge of IRT represents, and just coming together and sharing information, and every time we meet, everybody gets an experience like this. And so then 14th starts with a program called Be Michelangelo, which I I teach this work, Victoria. So even when 3 people show up, I'm willing to teach. So that's all great. So Essential IRT is January 7th. And on the 14th is Be Michelangelo, because as I said, I quoted him, when he asked, wow, how did you do that, David? That's so cool. That's amazing. Like, it's unbelievable. And he's, I just chipped away everything that wasn't him. So basically that's what IRT does. It allows everything to be dissolved. That's not the truth of you. Wow. So that you can then automatically show up with your gift shining and passionately in service for the world. And goodness knows we need more of us showing up on that next level. Absolutely. And so each of the individual courses, I have them out for 4 weeks over 2 months, because it's every other week, because we alternate the Essential IRT, and then the next week it's Be Michelangelo. And some people just want to sign up for one or the other. And each one, and I'm adding in, a bonus of a fifth session for each. So a series of 5 sessions of an hour to an hour and a half each. And they're experiential. The Be Michelangelo, we start with a group session where everybody comes together in silence. Believe it or not, I do no talking. It's true. And we come together in silence, and then I just take everybody through a group protocol. And then we come back together. And then what happens is everybody goes into breakout rooms in Zoom, automated by the system. So it's serendipitous. And then I've given you before a template of our evolutionary blueprint to read to each other back and forth. And you don't have to know anything, have any experience. And it's kind of like a facilitator training in a way. And then everybody comes back after that one-on-one session, and it's silence. And then in the last group, I played John Lennon's Imagine. Well, we all rippled that out, as the world is one, and, co-created the new earth, and visualized how we felt what we'd like to see for peace and harmony in the world. And yes, then we all get to do that. And then people would come back into the room, and usually that's about 50 minutes altogether. It's really lasered, and an hour max. And then people can share, and they can stay or they can go. And people that want to share and hang out, that, you know, you can be there 20, 30 minutes more. I'm always willing to show up. So often people really don't have a lot to say because they're like out of their minds.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we'll be happy to help promote that for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. So the link is
Absolutely.
there. You know, I could say what it is, but I can't remember all the little dashes and dots for the moment.
Bob just
But
put it
you'll
in the
find it.
chat, and when I edit, I'll make sure that I put it in there. So we're
Oh, actually, yeah, that is one, you know, but you
Mhm.
can go to the tab that has all three.
Mhm.
MaureenEdwardson.com, and then you'll just click on the January 23rd program in that, you know, that first column, that first portal. That's the best probably way to get a description and get all the information instead of just part of it. But thank you so much, Bob.
Great. Okay, we're going to
Question.
Olivia, and then we're going to close.
Yes,
Really
thank you.
quickly, practical question. Where do we get your book? Because I just ordered it, but I don't know how to access it. Will you
Oh,
send it?
it should be automatically downloaded to your email. And if it's not, send me a message and I'll manually send it over.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Noel.
Well, thank you all so much for your beautiful love and support and your presence and your receptivity and your lightning bolts and all these beautiful loving presences that are all of us together. So, and I thank you, Andrew and Connie, for your wonderful support and love. And yeah,
Thank you, Maureen. This has been off the charts, really.
and thank you, Barbara.
Yeah, you're all welcome to unmute and
say thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
facilitating my,
thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. Wonderful,
You're so
wonderful
welcome.
evening. Thank you.
thank you for
Yeah, you too.
facilitating my update.
Yes, please. Thank you for saying that, because I'm saying, please, you know, email me, MaureenEdwardson3@gmail, and or just go to my website and shoot me off a contact message and give me your updates. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, well.